back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love, for your support. If you are new to the channel, you're welcome. And if you have not subscribed, please, I would appreciate for you to hit on the subscribe button. Okay, guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this wrap top so you can see it. That's what we're going to learn how to make. I'll show you how to really actually adapt it into however you want to. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, you're welcome. If you have not subscribed, have I said that before? Please subscribe. Okay, so I actually have some lines here on my pattern paper. So this first line I have here is my shoulder line, and then the next line I have here is my bust point line, and then this is my under bust, and then this is my waist or half cut. Okay, so for this kind of the measurement that we're going to be using here is very important. The bust measurement is 34. You divide that into 4. We're going to have 8.5. We'll place it here. The under bust measurement is 26. Divide by 4, 6.5. We'll place it here. And then the waist or half cut measurement is 30 inches. That's the circumference round, the bust round, waist round, everything round. So we'll have 7.5. We'll place it here. So before we continue, the first thing we're going to do a bustier. So you can actually use any pattern of your choice. You can decide to use a regular waist that, but I want us to use a bustier. It kind of gives it a kind of fullness, okay? So the next thing now, we're going to do our bust, our shoulder, which is 13 inches. Divide that into 2, have 6.5. I'll place it here. And then I'm just going to add 1 inch for my allowance. So from this point, I'll come down by about half of an inch. You can do 1 inch, is okay. And then I'll float that into this point. And then the next measurement is half of my armhole measurement, which is 16. Half of 16 is 8. I'll mark that 8 inches here. I'll use my short ruler. I'll connect it like this here to this point. And then this, since this is 8, I'm going to use this as my chest line measurement. So that line, I'll extend it to this end. And then the next thing, I'm going to check what I have here. Half of it is going to be 4. I'll mark it here, and then I'll come into this point with about 1/4 of an inch, just tiny. You can see it, 1/4, not half. And then from this point, I'm going to mark, use this my pattern curve from here like this. I'll connect it to that 1/4 of an inch here like this. And then from here now, I'll just bring it to the top like this, okay? So the next thing now, we're going to take out our dart. So for the dart, I'll use half of my bust palm measurement, which is 8. I'll divide that into 2. I'm going to have 4 inches. So that 4 inches, I'll add half of an inch. So I'll get 4.5 inches. So that line, I'm going to mark that 4.5 here on this under bust line. I'll mark it on my bust point line. But I'm not going to mark it on the chest line, and then I'll mark it on the waistline. I'll use my short ruler. I'll connect it. So you people should just please ignore my voice. I don't know my voice has been cracked for some time. They said it's the weather, but the truth is I usually don't believe such those things. Okay, so I've marked my bust line. So for this pattern, let's use a shoulder dart. So as we continue, I'm going to mark 3 inches for my neck width, and then 3 inches for the neck depth, and then I'm going to connect the neckline. So I'm just going to connect the neckline like this, okay? All right, so you can see our pattern is taking shape. The next thing, let's check for our bust dart. Let's check what we have here. So I have about 4.5 inches here. So that 4.5 inches, I just want to check it. I want it to be accurate, to get the center like this, and then I'll place it. So I've marked the point. So people should just note that. So my dart, I'll take out to 1 inch for my dart. So I'll come to my under bust. I'll mark 1 inch to the right, and then 1 inch to the left. Okay. So that 1 inch, I'm going to connect it to this point like this. I'll use my pattern curve like this. I'll connect it to this point, and then this one I'll connect it facing this side also. So at the end of the day, it's just 2 inches I'm taking out like that, okay? And then on this point, on this my chest, and on this my line, on this my point like this, what do I call it? I'm going to come up to about half of an inch. So you can do 1 inch, is okay. So I'll just connect it, and then from this point I'm going to use my short ruler. It's more steady or sturdy. So I'll connect it. So with that, I've taken out my my dart, my shoulder dart. So I'm just trying to curve it properly. So the next thing we'll input our full measurement. So for the bust, which is 8.5, like I explained earlier, I'll come to this point. I'll mark that 8.5 here, and then I'm going to add note, because when I cut, I'm going to lose some inches here. So I'm going to add just 1 inch, and then I'll add my 1 inch as my allowance on that point also. So the next thing I'm going to do now, so those lines, those two lines, I'm just going to connect them down like this, just bring them to the waist part. So I just ignored that before. So now I've marked this point now. So I'll extend this my armhole line like this. I'll just extend it a little bit. Okay, so the next thing now, my bust. So that's it. So this line automatically I will elongate it to this point. And then for my under bust, which is 6.5. So this is 6.5. Remember our 2 inches for our dart. I'll bring that back into my pattern, and then I'm going to add 1 inch for my allowance. So I'll use this from that point. I'll mark it. And then for the waist, which is 37.5, I'll mark the 7.5. And remember these 2 inches, add that back into the pattern, and then I'll add my regular 1 inch allowance. So at the end of the day, I'm going to mark this like this. So this is going to be our pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do before I cut out, before I adapt it into that curve, I'm going to use this to cut out the back of the dress. Okay, so I'll do that and then come back and show you. Okay, so after cutting this out, so this is for the back pattern. So I'm going to keep the back on the side. So for the front, the next thing now, I'm going to cut this open. Okay. So the next thing, I'm going to bump this back. Just ignore all of those things that you saw there. Okay, so you can see what we have here. So the next thing now, we're going to adapt this into our cross top. So before we do that, so this neckline, I'm going to turn it into a V neckline. It is a simple process. So the same wideness, so it depends on where I want it to start from. So for this, let's do 5 inches. So I'll mark my 5 inches here, and then I'll just do this like this. Okay. So, but the back is just a regular round. So cut that out like this. And then depends on where. So for this now, it's going to terminate here. The cross depends on where I want it to terminate. I want it. So for this, I'm still going to go ahead and close my dart. Close that legs. So this will kind of help to give it a kind of fullness. Okay, so you can see looks good and okay. So the next thing now depends on where you want it to terminate at. So for this, we're going to be terminating it here and on the dart area. It is a very simple process. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take my long ruler. I think this one is longer. And then I'm going to place it here like this. So I'm going to come in a little bit more. I just saw it now. I'll come in a little bit more, just a little bit. And then I'll just curve it into that point. And then I'll use my curve. This. I'll use my marker. I would mark this and then I'll cut. So this is what I am going to use. This is what I'm going to now transfer. So with this, my my dress is going to have, as in my, it's going to have cups. It's not going to be flat. Okay. So with this now, I can now cut out my pattern, and then it's going to be a bustier, and then yet it is a wrap top. So I'm trying to open it up nicely so I don't scatter everything. Okay, so the next thing now, so I've opened up my pattern. So I spread it, and I'm going to cut out two pieces. Okay guys, so you can see, so this is the front pattern. So I'm going to take this off now. So this I'll take back to my machine, and then I'm going to join them together. So for this we cut out two pieces of it. So I'll join one piece and then join the other piece, and then bring it back and show you how it will look like. Okay guys, so after stitching, here is what how our bustier cross top looks like. So you can see how it looks like. So these are your cups. So you add your lining. So you cut the lining the same way. Use your pattern. Cut your lining exactly the same way. Sew and then you turn. So I'm going to show you how to place them now. So this is the back piece that we cut out earlier. And then I'm going to take this part. So it depends on where you want to flip it to. So you can actually cross it to wherever you want it to be. So you can see at the end of the day, you can see how it looks like. So you can see it is well covered. So with this, even though we have our cups, but it is really well covered. So you can see how it looks like. So at the end of the day, it came out well. So you can stitch and then add your skirt. If you're making it as a top, you make it as a top. So, but the essence of this tutorial is just to show you how to actually achieve this as a bustier. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.